Learning can be defined in many ways. We all have an understanding of learning, and we have all experienced it. Each of you will identify differently with these definitions taken from Pritchard. Similarly, learning is viewed differently by those specialising in the field. My name is Stephanie Kelly, and today I look forward to spending this time with you to examine the behaviourist view of learning. Throughout this presentation, I will be drawing on behaviourist ideas and applications to explore and demonstrate how, in the right context, behaviourism equips us as educators with powerful tools to use. So what is behaviourism? Well, Pritchard and Ormerod describe behaviourism to be a theoretical perspective of learning that focuses on the effect of environmental stimuli on behaviour. Learning is observable and measurable, it's passive, it's the acquisition of new behaviour and the direct result of experience. Classical conditioning emerged from Pavlov's early research concerning digestion in dogs, which changed the study of the salivation process when he noticed the dog salivated in response to stimuli other than the food itself. Thus, as outlined by Pritchard, Pavlov argued that salivation is a conditioned or learnt response. As an education assistant in pre-primary, we obtain students' attention by ringing a bell and simultaneously instructing them to stop, look and listen. Classical conditioning, as outlined by Ormerod, begins with a stimulus-response association that already exists. Duchesne and McMahon propose that children tend to stop and look when they hear a loud or abnormal sound. Therefore, we're using children's natural behaviour to train a response to certain stimuli in order to teach students to respond appropriately to a call for attention. Miller and Barnett explain that by presenting both stimuli simultaneously and on numerous occasions, known as contiguity, over time, the stimulus can be phased out altogether, as the teacher's voice alone captures the student's attention. Later developments of behaviourism focused on how learning occurs in response to feedback received from behaviour. Known as operant conditioning and developed by Skinner, Ormerod defines the types of feedback to be those that increase the behaviours they follow, called positive and negative reinforcement, and those that decrease the behaviours, called punishment. An example would be my Year 5 classroom theme of Harry Potter, involving the existence of a Harry Potter corner filled with fun activities. We were afforded the opportunity to play in the corner as a reward for good behaviour or achievement. Equally, misbehaviour would result in exclusion from the corner. The corner therefore managed our behaviour, serving as an activity reinforcer, a form of positive reinforcement, otherwise known as the Premack principle. Equally, for those who misbehaved, the corner was a form of removal punishment. I do wonder, however, were my peers as motivated to spend time in that corner as I had been? It's important to remember that reinforcers and punishments are environmental stimuli that influence behaviour, and these stimuli affect everyone differently. For instance, Ormerod's example that some students perform and behave for feelings of success and accomplishment, or intrinsic motivators, whereas others for social benefits or recognition, extrinsic motivators. Consequently, the use of reinforcement is most effective when tailored to the individual students. So if we look at behaviourism's strengths, at an individual level, the approach provides a clear goal for the learner to work towards and ensures consistent behaviour in the same circumstances, according to Negawa and Negawa. From a teacher's perspective, Dell explains that behaviourist techniques encourage appropriate classroom behaviours and discourage misbehaviour. They are useful when applied in the form of self-paced software modules, as Pritchard explains that the programs provide frequent feedback for answers and work well for mixed ability classes due to the shaping process it employs. Duchesne and McMahon contribute their uptake to the effectiveness in teaching new skills and behaviours quickly, their ability to be implemented with a variety of learners in a range of contexts, and their relative ease of use. In contrast, Negawa and Negawa summarise the drawbacks of behaviourism to include the disregard of thought processes, the focus on the acquisition of new behaviour, and the emphasis on observable responses. Fisher, Piazza and Rowan explain that as a result, it's clear the theory cannot cater for all kinds of learning, or complex forms of behaviour such as problem solving or difficulty experienced due to cognitive deficiencies. Additionally, extrinsic reinforcement, according to Pritchard, may lead to loss of interest, detract from the real issue, and isolate students who feel they have little chance of receiving a reward. Behaviourist strategies may even be counterproductive. For instance, redirecting attention and effort to completing an activity rather than actually learning from it, thereby reducing students' likelihood to engage in higher order functions of Bloom's taxonomy. What is most concerning, however, is the little consideration for ethics, humanisation and free will. The techniques, according to Malone and White, focus on changing specifically targeted behaviours, with results maintained for all animal species, including humans. Therefore, the theory ignores relations between people and differences in individuals' beliefs, attitudes and abilities. So, following our analysis, where does behaviourism fit with modern accounts of effective teaching? First, I believe we should consider the factors that foster productivity, safe learning, and positive reactions towards school, as Pritchard attributes a supportive atmosphere conducive to work and achievement to be a prerequisite for effective teaching. Similarly, Ormrod emphasises the importance of the effect of students' past and present environments on behaviour. Therefore, the classroom environment should be structured so appropriate behaviours lead to desirable consequences and inappropriate behaviours do not. Ormrod suggests small areas that encourage interaction and cooperation rather than competition, and tangible rewards and feedback for positive behaviour. Pritchard recommends establishing the nature of the reinforcement and the behaviours to be encouraged and reinforced. Rewards must be valued by the student, be managed to maintain intrinsic motivation, and be elicited for varied behaviours to ensure the best is not all that is acknowledged. In contrast, punishment should be avoided due to the stronger and longer lasting effect of positive reinforcement. Now, does behaviourism offer more than just effective classroom management? What about the learning component of effective teaching? Collins emphasises the importance of teaching higher order thinking skills to prepare students for the 21st century, explained by Brookhart as the ability to apply knowledge, reflectively think, reason and question, and formulate alternatives. According to Legrand, Bloom's taxonomy connects learning objectives with particular cognitive skills and ability levels. Higher order thinking skills correlate with Krahel's explanation of Bloom's categories from comprehension to synthesis, now understanding to evaluating, involving understanding and using knowledge. In contrast, behaviourist techniques require only recognition or recall of information, objectives that fall into Bloom's knowledge category, now remembering category. Therefore, as behaviourist views of learning entail lower levels of thinking, they involve surface learning only, explained by Legrand as the remembering of facts in unconnected ways. However, this doesn't mean that behaviourism has no place in supporting learning. Collins also argues that knowing basic facts is essential in providing the building blocks for understanding. Therefore, as suggested by Negawa and Negawa, the behaviourist approach may be most effective when used at the beginning of a topic, as learners may acquire and master those basic concepts and facts first. So in conclusion, the behaviourist approach to learning has been critiqued to a large extent, with some aspects considered controversial and outdated. Due to the little consideration of mental activity and understanding, there are issues to overcome when setting out philosophies of teaching and learning that draw upon behaviourist approaches. If we return to our definitions of learning, how well do you think behaviourism addresses all of these? In my opinion, while techniques do not promote deep levels of thinking and learning, they do still equip us as educators with powerful tools to aid the learning process and lay the foundation for effective teaching, with Duchesne and McMahar's caveat that they are used carefully and ethically in the classroom setting, in congruence with other theories of learning that take into account inner processes of thinking. Thank you.